Patrick, you're up next.
Mayor and Council, first before I start my statement, I would like to say, as a 35-plus year resident of Paulsboro, it pains me to have to come here and express my opinion in this way.
Patrick, before you start, we have your name and address just for the record, please.
Patrick Schubert Sr., 117 East Washington Street, Paulsboro, New Jersey.
Thank you, Patrick.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I have come here today as an overburdened tax-paying citizen of Paulsboro to speak freely with my elected leaders. First, many citizens have complained publicly and privately about issues far and wide. Section 8 housing and its contribution to the downfall of our town. School-related issues ranging from the system failing to busing issues have come up. While more do exist, there is still nothing on the horizon to correct any of these issues. In the past few months, Paulsboro has appeared on a notorious list. Not a list of schools that are good or bad, but the most exposure to toxicity. Is this our town's planned path to the future? Our children are our future, and if this is the way our town leaders will treat them and teach them their lives must be lived, then what future do we all have? Second, this meeting grants our people a scarce chance to see our leaders on a level above our municipal offices, and I would like to take this opportunity to say to them, even though they are now gone, and to the people who review the history of this meeting, that Paulsboro needs to decide its future. We do not require their flawed decision-making process to better ourselves. The people need to decide whose land will be used as a weapon of economic warfare to be waged against them with their tax dollars, or whether such a war will continue. We do not need a nursing home administrator deciding who will be disrupting any of our 10 EPA Superfund sites. Should you wish to show us good faith, allow your redevelopment process to be reviewed by the New Jersey State Advocate to ensure there have been no violations of environmental laws. Third, I will openly tell all now that my wife and I earn over $3,000 a month, and we can no longer afford to live under your fiscal policies. Prior to your tax hike, we easily afforded our modest lifestyle, and even with reductions in our expenses, we barely get by now. We spend less than $400 a month on food for 3 people, and we get to be warm for the first 2 weeks of every month because we cannot fill our oil tank. I am contemplating selling my classic car to make the next payment to the black hole our tax assessor's window has become. I know a majority percentage of residents, a lot of which are senior citizens on fixed incomes, are not lucky enough to make the money my household brings in. And daily I pray they find a way to sustain life under your policies and the hardships they bring us all. So that begs the question, do we have a tax problem brought on by ExxonMobil, or do we have a leadership problem? Lastly, our streets are putrid. It is a disgrace, and we all hang our heads in shame because of what has been allowed to happen. Some do try, but a few alone will never keep up with the slide. We sit in a toxic wasteland that may kill us while we devastate ourselves to sustain the drive to our individual ends, be they financial, health, or sanity related. You, Mr. Mayor, and all the members of our council need to step up and find the solutions. They do exist and can be implemented. I have recorded many council meetings, and it has become a redundant gag reel of I. To council, if you have ideas to improve our town and lives, why are we not hearing them? Those who sit here and also work in our schools should see the result of our current policies daily, just as we see them on our streets. Our future is blighted and getting worse. We have removed bad properties and many persist. But what sensible person will build new homes in these neighborhoods in their current states? Our streets are cratered in spots, and we use a street grant to work on Billings Avenue. We have more boarded up business addresses than we have functioning businesses. We no longer deal with Plywood Alley, and we do thank you for that. But we sit on a precipice of a future where Paulsboro is a plywood town and her citizens will beg on Delaware Street. We have a code structure which allows one person to repeatedly cite people for violations of an ordinance that is not enforced upon the dilapidated fire truck which sits behind your theater, Mr. Mayor. In September, you boasted that our borough writes 400 parking tickets a year when you regularly park on a clearly marked yellow curb in front of your home. I ask you all to bend because your people broke when the tax bills hit our mailboxes in September. We have given and given, so now I have to ask, what will you give? Will you accept the salary of $1 until you institute policies we can survive on? Or will you once again sit atop the ivory tower of our tax dollars and laugh at our destituteness, or will you really help? Should you decide not to accept the pay scale I have suggested tonight, I will begin a door-to-door campaign to get the necessary signatures to force a referendum in November. We, the people of Paulsboro, will force fiscal responsibility on our uncaring and irresponsible government body if it leaves us no other choice. Thank you for your time. I hope you understand the seriousness with which I deliver this statement.
Thank you, Patrick.
Mr. Mayor, this copy
Yeah,
is for you.
Thank you, Patrick. I can't, all I'll say in return, you see, I just can't disagree with you more. Joycelyn, you're next.
Good evening. I'm Joycelyn Gaines. First of all, I want to congratulate Ms. Maria and Mr. Kidd and your re-election, and to the council who have done a marvelous job in trying to do things over the years. I'm going to bring up one point which has to do with the quality of life, and it has to do with reiteration of what Joe Kidd had said, and pretty much what the two speakers ahead of me have also echoed. And you know that 2009 will be very difficult. I myself am not a person who doesn't have some type of a means, but right now I'm in a bind. I'm dealing with two houses, one in Pennsylvania, which was mine, and one with my parents, which is also now mine. The one that I'm living in at 231 is very, very difficult, 231 West Washington, for me to keep by myself. It is I sit there and I do and clean up the streets, because you all know that every morning between 6:30 and 8. I have asked and our police enforcement has been very, very kind, and they have done as much as they possibly can, but I'm going to press on that they can do more. I had asked for that hearing on which the council person, Ms. Alfie, mentioned last time, and it was postponed. And I need it in the works. There are still 13 to 15 people that convene in front of that house every day at around 3, every evening around 7, and every morning about 11. If I were to do anything with that property, my property, I could not do it. And nobody on that street can do it. I'm cleaning it up, and I've got it's hanging. So I need that hearing, and I need the individual to do it. I thank you, and then we can say that Paulsboro has tried beyond the fact of sports. You understand what I'm saying? Paulsboro has got to have clean streets, and they've got to have the vagrancy removed. Thank you.
Thank you, Joycelyn. And you'll hear at the business agenda the rescheduling of that meeting. The only reason it was postponed is the defendant